Hello, dear listeners. I'm Chaterine Whitmore, and welcome back to Real English Stories with Chaterine, a place where you can learn the language through truth, courage, and quiet strength. Today's story is not an easy one, but it's a necessary one. It's about fear, resilience, and the moment a woman chose herself. If you're here to learn English, to grow your confidence, or simply to feel seen, you are exactly where you need to be. My name is Sophie Langdon. I'm 41 years old. I live alone in a small but charming flat just outside of Brighton, not far from the sea. My life had become wonderfully peaceful, quiet mornings with tea, classical music humming in the background, a bookshelf always within reach. But then came that night. It was a Friday evening. I had just returned from work at the gallery. I kicked off my shoes, changed into my soft grey loungewear, and made myself a cup of chamomile. The radio played gently. The sky outside was already dark. Then I heard it. A knock. At first it was soft. I thought perhaps it was the neighbour's door. But then again, louder. Bang, bang. I froze. I wasn't expecting anyone. I hadn't had visitors in weeks. Slowly, cautiously, I approached the door and looked through the peephole. My heart stopped. It was Edward, my ex-husband. We had been separated for just over 2 months. I left him after years of emotional storms. His temper was unpredictable. Words that once comforted became sharp. He didn't strike, but he shattered walls, mugs, trust. I opened the door just slightly, heart pounding. "What are you doing here?" I asked. He smiled, that familiar lopsided smile, but his eyes were dark, not soft, not safe. "I miss you, Soph. Can we talk?" "I don't want to talk," I said, keeping my voice calm. "Please leave." He frowned, stepped closer. "Just 5 minutes. Let me in. We can fix this." "There's nothing to fix. It's over." And then his tone shifted. The smile vanished. His voice was suddenly cold. "Open the door, Sophie, now." "No!" I whispered it. My hand shook as I tried to close the door, but he shoved hard. Thankfully, I had locked the chain. The door held. I stepped back. He began yelling, pounding on the door, shouting, "You can't do this! You're my wife!" My hands trembled. I called my best friend. "He's here," I whispered. "He's angry. I'm scared." "Call the police," she said without pause. "Now." With fingers that barely obeyed, I dialed. "Please help," I told the emergency operator. "My ex-husband is outside. He's trying to get in." "Stay calm, ma'am," she said. "Stay inside. Officers are on their way." I sat on the floor, phone gripped in both hands. My mind swirled with memories, his laugh when things were good, his voice when it used to soothe, but those days were gone. Now, he was a stranger, a dangerous one. After 10 of the longest minutes I've ever lived through, I heard firm voices outside. "Sir, step away from the door." The police had arrived. He shouted again, "She belongs with me." But the officer replied clearly, "No means no. Leave now." At last, he did. I didn't sleep that night. I kept every light on. Every shadow seemed a threat. The next morning, I changed the locks. I bought a personal alarm. I looked in the mirror and said softly but firmly, "You are safe now. You are strong." Even now, I still remember his knock. The look in his eyes, the way he said, just 5 minutes. That night changed me. I used to be polite to a fault, quiet, unsure of when to speak. Now I speak. I draw lines. I protect myself. I believe my instincts. And I do not apologize for being afraid because fear kept me alive. Some people later said, "Oh, maybe he just wanted to talk." But they didn't hear his voice. They didn't see his eyes. I did. And I want you, dear listener, to remember this. If someone scares you, you don't owe them anything. Not 5 minutes, not your door, not your peace. That was Sophie's story, and perhaps a story that echoes in someone else's life too. If you are learning English through these stories, know this. You're also learning about strength, self-worth, and how to speak up in any language. Share this with someone who needs courage today. And if you ever feel afraid, trust your instincts. You are not alone. You deserve peace, protection, and love without fear. I'm Chaterine Whitmore, and I'll see you next time with another true human story in gentle, beautiful English. Until then, be well, be strong, and be kind to yourself.